Good afternoon. We are on the heels of another potential winter storm across the Carolinas and parts of Southern Virginia. Right now, we're looking at the latest MRMS data. This is showing pretty much a band of some light snow, probably not accumulating too much right now, but this will be the band that will get sucked up into the main event that we talked about earlier this morning. And we will zoom out here and stop that and go to our satellite. There it is, right here. That big piece of energy will rotate in and cause cyclone genesis off the coast of the Carolinas. And that's what will bring at least most of the eastern part of the state, their precipitation, the snow accumulations will be greater over there due to that low pressure center that'll be just off the coast. And as it wraps around, it'll sling up moisture from the Atlantic and really probably, given the upper level dynamics, pretty much dump on the eastern part of North Carolina and South Carolina. The question is what happens out in the western part of the state. Excuse me. What happens in the western part of the Carolinas? And that's where this upper level system here will play a big part. Well, at least that's what the models are showing anyways. This band here is forecast to strengthen as that upper level energy approaches and fill in and mature. And that's what's going to give the western Piedmont and the mountains and the foothills of North Carolina and South Carolina its pretty much the snow that they're going to get. Okay, so now we're going to look at the GFS, and it's tried to render that precipitation field over in Kentucky and Virginia. If we take a look at the evolution of that, you can see that, whoa, look at that. If we go back a little bit, you can see that as the upper level energy approaches the southern Appalachians, these banding features here will set up. Now, wherever those bands set up will have the heaviest accumulations. And this is why I'm pretty apprehensive about particular totals in particular areas. Because once this process gets underway, it's pretty much nearly impossible to forecast exactly where those bands will set up. And you have a lot of dynamics, and the physics involved is very, very sensitive to moisture content, the actual track and evolution of the upper level dynamics, as well as lower level dynamics. Wherever these things set up, that's where you'll have the heaviest snowfall accumulations. Now, what can be said in general is that we will have some snow across western Carolinas and perhaps parts of Virginia. But see, wherever these bands eventually set up, that's where your heaviest snowfall will occur. And this is just one model solution. The GFS, sure, it's a fine model. Is it perfect? No model's perfect. But it is giving us a hint of the amount of dynamics involved. So right now, the only thing I'm comfortable with is saying most of North Carolina will probably get warning criteria snow. So this is 3 inches or more in most of these areas. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. Some of these areas will probably struggle to get to warning criteria because of where the location of the bands were. If the bands do not set up over a particular area, say maybe this area, then warning criteria snowfall accumulations are probably not going to be achieved. But we don't know where those bands are. So, of course, they're going to be under a warning because it is possible that those bands will set up over Wilkesboro or over Statesville or over Charlotte or over Brevard, North Carolina, or over Greenwood, South Carolina. We do not know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure nobody will know. But what is going to occur is a pretty impactful winter storm for most people. Now, unlike last weekend's storm, this storm is pretty much going to be either rain or snow. There's not going to be too much ice, except when the snow gets onto roads and then it kind of melts, because now we're going to have some freezing temperatures after this storm. We got cold weather advisories, watches, and warnings up, extreme cold weather warnings up that are just a testament to the chilly, bone chilly air that is going to be in place over the southern Appalachians for an extended period of time. And, you know, just like we said last weekend with the ice storm, temperatures are going to be getting so cold that the solutions that they put on the roadways are going to be rendered useless. And that's no good. And that's probably why the large majority of the state is under major winter weather outlooks, because of the travel conditions after the storm passes. Scraping and laying down that brine solution is going to be very, very useless. So now we're close enough to the event that we can look at some high resolution model outputs. And one of my favorite high resolution is Rufus. What's up? It does a pretty good job at rendering some of the, or at least earlier band of precipitation across Kentucky into Virginia. So that's promising. At least initialization is pretty good. I think I pronounced that right. Again, it shows the maturity and the expansion of this band as the day wears on, getting into Tennessee, intensifying snowfall rates over Kentucky, parts of West Virginia and Virginia. And as the upper level system rotates in and becomes mature, so does that band of snow. And wouldn't you know it, there's some pretty heavy snowfall here in those parts of South Carolina. And you can see, again, these banding features here across the state. Wherever these bands set up, that's where the heaviest snowfall will be. And see, here's one solution. Oh, look at that. There's a pretty good band right there. Whee! So, the dynamics involved are very sensitive to what the evolution of this system is. That's all we can say right now. There's going to be snow. I'm pretty confident about that. You're going to see snowflakes. If you live in the southern half of Virginia, maybe the eastern Tennessee, North Carolina, if you live in South Carolina, you might see a snowflake. I'm very confident about that forecast. I'm not going to get into accumulations. I will tell you what the models say, and then I will caution you about those totals. I will caution you about your favorite local media outlets forecasts, the National Weather Service forecasts, and some of their discussions. They have high confidence, but the models are only so good as the input that it receives. And some of those inputs are flawed. That's why we do ensemble modeling. That's why I love ensemble modeling. In fact, let's take a look at one. So, this is the hybrid GEFS. And this does not have a snow product, at least in weather-wise. It might not have a snow product at all. But anyways, it does have a QPF product. And while it does not explicitly have snow totals, you can assume a 10-to-1 ratio. So for every inch of rain that is produced in the QPF, you can multiply that by 10, and that's the number of inches of snow. Now, this is just a rough estimate. Some of the MBM forecasts have anywhere from 15 to 20 to 1. So, but I'm going to use 10 to 1 because, I'm pessimistic about the forecast. I'm sorry. So here's the precipitation pattern across the Carolinas, according to the GEFS AI version of the hybrid GEFS. If we kind of look here, so this model is putting down 0.44 inches, so a 10-to-1 ratio. This would mean 4.4 inches of snow for Charlotte. Over here towards Asheville, eventually, about 4.5 inches. However, over here towards New Bern, about 7.3 inches. This is on average. Now, we talked about the dynamics involved. We also talked about how those bands will set up. So what we could do is we could say, Charlotte, you could expect around 4 inches of snow, locally higher amounts. That's all we can say, at least according to this particular model. Let's look at another model. Please. Let's look at the AI GFS ensemble. Maybe. If we don't want to. Do we want to? It's loading. It's not going to want to. Maybe we can look at something else. NBM. It's also loading. What is with this thing? I think WeatherWise is mad at me. I didn't really say anything bad about it, so I don't know why it would be mad at me. But you understand what the stakes are. So the winter storm does look likely, at least across the eastern half of the state. I'm worried about particular forecasts from the higher resolution models. Where those bands set up will dictate who gets what. And it is impossible to predict exactly where those bands set up. Now, I do understand that some of those bands will migrate, at least towards the south and east. How fast or however slow these bands will migrate will dictate also the amount of snow that someone under those bands get, or those bands passing through. But the sheer amount of forcing involved is just too dynamical. It's too sensitive to the physics involved. It's like playing darts in the dark. Maybe you hit the wall. Maybe you hit a window. Ooh. Wait, that reminds me of a song. So I showed some of these graphics on the short this morning, but we're going to go in a little bit more detail about the official forecasts from the Weather Prediction Center and the National Weather Service. So here we have the risk of seeing snowfall of greater than or equal to 4 inches. And you can see that the vast majority of the state is under a high risk. So this is more than 70% chance of seeing 4 inches or more of snowfall. If we go up to 8 inches, not too much has changed from this morning. Ooh, I did it again, didn't I? Oh my gosh. Can't believe that. Day 2. The majority of the state has at least a 40 to 70% chance, or a moderate risk, of seeing greater than or equal to 8 inches of snow. Good news, no freezing rain. I told you. You didn't believe me, did you? Snowfall of greater than 12 inches. Although, oh my gosh, I did it again. Why do I keep doing that? Day 2, again. I'm trying to get the draw tool up here. Not D for drought, but anyways, this is a slight risk of seeing greater than a foot of snow. And even though it's a small risk, there is a risk. There is a chance. And yes, I am telling you, there's a chance. Especially over here towards Lumberton, Rockingham, Greenville, and Elizabeth City up towards Virginia Beach. Even probably as far south as, just north of Charleston. Sorry. like Georgetown, Johnsonville, Myrtle Beach, Conway, Florence, Darlington, Chadbourn, Elizabethtown, Mount Olive, Goldsboro, maybe Raleigh, maybe Elizabeth City. Yeah, Rocky Mount. There you go. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. That's all I have to say about this particular storm at this moment. Perhaps an update will be uploaded later tonight or perhaps tomorrow morning. Just depends. You know, if anything changes or if the evolution of the storm seems off based on model initializations. I think I pronounced that right. Anyways, but before I go, I wanted to give a shout out to Pibbles. It's a dog fan. I received a picture of a fan or subscriber of their dog watching my videos. So pretty cool. Thank you, Pibbles, for your support. And see, it's not that bad. That's not that bad. I got fans who are dogs too, Ryan Hall. Yeah, I'm coming after you. No, I'm just kidding.